Today I want to talk to you about terms and terminology. And this is really important if you're going to be buying or if you're going to be selling actually from dealers or for auction houses. You actually have to understand the terminology, just like a physician has to understand the type of terminology when it does with anatomy and organs and all the different things that go along with that. If you can't speak the language right, you can't really do the job. So some of the terminology I want to talk today about is for jewelry. And these are, for some people, very simple terms, but for others, they really don't understand what they are. And I want to give you some good examples of what you're talking about, what I'm talking about, and what they are. So let's just talk about inlay. You have a pebble inlay, which is a rounded type of inlay, and it is a type of mosaic inlay. And mosaic inlay is when it's on one piece of the stone touches the other piece of the stone. And you use cobblestone inlay, mosaic inlay is seen in Zuni, Pueblo, as well as Navajo jewelry. You also have hallmarks on jewelry. If you look at the back, you're going to see a hallmark. Now, hallmark is simply a stamp or a designation of the maker. Now, they can be all sorts of types of things, right? They can be little figures of animals. They can actually be the initials. It can be the whole name. And so you'll need to look up what hallmarks are. We do have some of that on our website at medicinemangallery.com, so you can go look up hallmarks. And pretty much every jeweler is going to have a hallmark if it's new jewelry. Older jewelry really doesn't have this. So old pawn or pawn jewelry, that's not going to have hallmarks. These are really found in things that are from the 1940s and before. Even the 30s, you would see some hallmarks, but those are fairly uncommon. You have tufa casting, which I'm going to talk to you about in a video all by itself. But basically, tufa cast looks like this. It's out of volcanic ash. It's a stone which is carved, and they put the silver inside, and it makes this design element, and it comes up with a element like this. Now, tufa casting is very interesting. People contemporarily make it as well as they did it in the early days, and these are early examples. And there is a video that I'll talk just about on tufa casting. You have overlay. Overlay is a type of silver upon silver. You usually see it in Hopi jewelry, and in fact, it's kind of characteristic of Hopi jewelry from the 40s onward. And basically, it's two pieces of silver that the top piece has the designs are cut out, and then it has a silver solder put to the bottom piece, so you have two pieces of silver, and then the bottom piece is darkened so it really pops out. And again, you'll see this in Pueblo, Navajo. It's known mainly in Hopi, but it's called overlay jewelry or overlay silver. You have bezels. So what do you expect to find with the word bezel? Bezel really is the portion that holds the stone of a piece of jewelry. And as you can see from the examples I'm showing you, you can have very large bezels, which you see in earlier jewelry, and smaller bezels, which you'll see in more contemporary jewelry. You have stamp work. Stamp work really means that it's stamped onto the silver or gold. There is a piece of a stamp, and they can be all sorts of things that the silversmith will make that they use and pound and put into the design. There's also cold chisel marks. Cold chisel marks, you're hitting literally with a cold chisel to make a design as well. You have hand-pulled wire versus wire that's just made. Hand-pulled wires means that it was actually made with a round. The wire was run through a round form to make this wire, and it has a it's not as symmetrical as just wire that's made or bought. So the final one that I talk about is the word ingot. And ingot really is the pouring of either coins or ingot bars to make the jewelry. And when you look at ingot, you'll see that there's a crackle or a cracking on the back of the piece, of the silver piece. And ingot is generally early, though there's people that work with ingot right now. They make it. There's reproductions that are done that way. If you see the word ingot, you might think this is early and probably expensive. So these are some of the terms that you need to use and be able to understand if you're going to want to buy or even deal in Native American jewelry.